Bezel is a bad word when it comes to smartphones. Some of the manufacturers have already cut the edges of the displays to the minimum, but those phones usually cost a lot of money. The Doogee Mix aims to deliver a bezel-less smartphone experience for just about $170. But is cutting the edges enough to make a great budget phone? My name is Linus. Stay tuned for the full TechLine HD review. Just before we start, this phone costs around $170. I will leave all the links including the camera samples down below. The phone ships in quite a nice box, and inside of it you can find all the usual stuff. Some extras include a case to protect the phone and a screen protector. The design is the key selling point of the Doogee Mix, but the main question is if the device is truly bezel-less. Well, there are tiny bezels along with the black bars, but they are cut to the minimum. Even though I would not call the Doogee Mix a truly bezel-less phone, it is still one of the best looking budget devices you can buy. A Samsung-made 5.5-inch 1080p AMOLED display is just gorgeous to look at, as it is punchy and vibrant. However, I found the colors to be slightly oversaturated for my taste. The sunlight legibility is not the best, but it is quite decent. The earpiece is on the top, but the 5-megapixel front-firing camera is implemented on the bottom, so you would probably need to take selfies holding the phone upside down. There are customizable on-screen navigation keys, but you can also use a capacitive home key to navigate through the user interface, and I found it to be really useful. The fingerprint scanner is not the fastest I've seen, but it gets the job done to unlock the phone straight from the standby mode. The overall build quality is good and the phone sits nicely in the hand. However, I found that the buttons a little bit rattle. The Doogee Mix is not all about the looks, as it is plenty powerful for the price. The device ships with an octa-core Helio P25 chip, 4GB of RAM and 64GB of expandable storage. You can also opt in for a slightly more expensive model that has 6GB of RAM. The gaming performance is just great. I was able to run all the 3D games on the highest graphics settings without any issues, which is kind of impressive given the price of the phone. The device gets a little bit warm on the upper portion, but that doesn't impair the performance. The Doogee Mix ships with the Android 7.0 out of the box, but we have a proprietary skin on top of it that brings a little bit different look, and it has quite a few extra features. Just to name a few, you can read the latest news if you swipe to the left, choose from quite a few different themes or wallpapers, or use a floating gesture that I usually find annoying as it gets in my way. You can also choose from a variety of gesture controls that work pretty well, or use the one-hand operation mode. What is the most important for me on any phone is the speed and fluidity. I found the Doogee Mix to be quite fast, but there is some occasional stutter if you simply swipe through the menus back and forth. It just seems that some of the animations have some skipped frames. Well, this is not a deal breaker, but I believe we will see a software update quite soon since my device runs on an early software build. When it comes to optics, the Doogee Mix has quite an interesting dual camera setup that consists of one 16-megapixel shooter and another 8-megapixel sensor. The camera app takes pictures extremely fast. There are some shooting modes to make the best out of that dual camera setup, like blur mode that takes pictures with that bokeh effect. The pictures taken in this mode look quite okay, but they are far from the flagship grade quality. The daylight image quality is disappointing for a $170 phone. I took most of the pictures under perfect lighting conditions, but the images lack detail, sharpness, the colors are usually washed out, and the dynamic range adjustment is kind of poor. Sure, you will be able to take some decent photos, but you will usually see these shortcomings. The low light camera performance is just bad. There is plenty of noise and low amount of detail. can also utilize the secondary sensor to take pictures with up to 4 times lossless zoom. At least this is what Doogee claims. Sure, the results are better than using just digital zoom, but still, there is plenty of noise and the images lack detail. We can also take black and white pictures, which may look okay, but I'm not a huge fan of black and white photography anyway. The selfie image quality is just mediocre. Sure, they are usable for social media, but what bothers me the most is the red tint in most of the shots. I'm shooting a video with a Doogee mix in 1080p resolution, and this is handheld footage, and as you may hear, it's a very windy day, also cloudy day. The Doogee mix can shoot videos in 4K resolution, but I think this is just an upscale 1080p footage. There is a decent amount of detail, but in general, the videos don't look good because there is a lot of choppiness and shakiness, and the electronic image stabilization feature does not help at all. The 1080p videos does not look as choppy as 4K, but I would rate the quality as average. What disappoints me the most is the lack of continuous autofocus feature, and the footage could look a lot sharper. Okay, continuous autofocus feature does not seem to be working fine because I just needed to tap on the display again. So I'm testing out the front firing camera of the Doogee Mix phone. And the very first shortcoming I noticed is that the camera can shoot at the maximum resolution of just 480p, which is really disappointing. The selfie video looks just horrible since it's only in 480p, at least this is what the stock camera app allows. Also, the sound is being recorded only to the left channel, which is again really disappointing. The Doogee implemented a loudspeaker on the bottom, and the quality of it is just average to say the least. Same can be said about the quality of sound via the headset jack. The Doogee Mix has a hybrid dual SIM card tray that can take either 2 SIMs or 1 SIM and a microSD card. Also, the phone has most of the needed sensors like gyroscope, proximity, and so on. When it comes to connectivity, the Wi-Fi speed and range are good, and the GPS is accurate. The signal reception is good, and the call quality is decent. The phone has a 3380 mAh battery that will let you use the phone for the entire day, but not more. At least this is my experience. I can't tell you the exact screen on time due to a software bug in the settings menu, but I would say that the phone will get you about 5 hours of SOT. Finally, it takes about 1.5 hours to fully charge the phone with a supplied fast charger. The Doogee Mix has a lot to offer for the price, but it also has quite a few shortcomings that you just have to consider. The phone is definitely a looker, the gaming performance is great, and the display is awesome, and the battery life is decent. However, I was not impressed by the overall camera performance. The user interface is not as smooth as it should be, the loudspeaker quality is mediocre, and finally, I will let you to decide if the phone is truly bezel-less. At the end of the day, the Doogee Mix is a unique phone for the price, but hopefully, the future software updates will address some of the shortcomings to make the phone a good value for the price. It was Linus, thanks for watching, and as always guys, if you have any questions, please drop me a comment down below and let me guys know in the comment section down below what you think about the Doogee Mix. Finally, if you want to get all the latest updates, please follow TechLineHD on social media like on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. See you soon.